Well, it certainly wasn't pretty, but the Eagles just got a huge win over the Packers, and they pulled off something scary in the process, as it seems that the Birds have finally fixed one of their biggest problems, and the new addition Jaelan Phillips is right at the center of it, as he absolutely dominated in his Philly debut, and he's just getting started. Speaking of which, the defense as a whole dominated, but for the offense, it was a different story, as Kevin Patullo's unit regressed back to the struggles that plagued them earlier in the season, while A.J. Brown was underutilized once again. However, there were still some positives, so let's talk about that and everything else from the Eagles' ugly win over the Packers starting right now. So just 2 weeks ago, the Eagles had finally broke out on offense and had their best performance of the season, as they had turned back the clock to 2024 and absolutely dominated the Giants both on the ground and through the air, while giving Eagles fans some hope that they had finally fixed their offensive problems that have haunted them all year long. So coming out of the bye week, fans were obviously hoping to see Kevin Patullo and the offensive unit build on that performance, and unfortunately, the exact opposite happened, as the offense reverted right back to a lot of the same issues that we saw from them earlier in the season, with conservative, basic play calling from Kevin Patullo and a lack of usage for A.J. Brown taking the spotlight. That said, as much as the offensive problems are a massive story and something that we cannot ignore, we also can't ignore the fact that the Eagles won this game. I mean, a win is a win, no matter how ugly, and it's not like the Packers are a bad team. I mean, they got a ton of talent, the defense was unreal in this one, which contributed to a lot of the offensive struggles, and don't forget, they were the top seed in the NFC just a couple weeks ago, so beating them in Lambeau Field in prime time is no easy task, and the Eagles definitely deserve credit for that. And this win is huge just in terms of the standings, just because it keeps the Birds the number 1 seed in the NFC, as they currently have the tiebreaker over the 7-2 Seahawks. And with some other tough games coming up, getting this win was definitely big time and gives the Eagles a much better chance of later down the line securing that number 1 seed in the NFC. So again, that just absolutely cannot be understated.
Sometimes it's going to look really pretty. Sometimes it's not always going to look pretty in this league. We found a way to win. We'll be very critical. We got to enjoy these wins. It's hard to come into this place against this team, well coached, good players, and win a game. So we have to enjoy this. Make no mistake about it. Like, every one of us is determined to get better and continuing to rise.
Come to Lambeau Field, find a way to win as a collective group in this environment on Monday Night Football. It's a big time win. That's a big testament to our team.
That's the main objective, come out here and get a win. It was ugly. Offensively, we struggled, but we came out on top.
I think it says a lot about us just being able to, grit out these road wins, especially. Like you said, Lambeau, grit it out. We get these tough wins, and, I think that's just kind of the identity of this team is, sometimes it's going to be tough, but we just find a way.
Defense. Wow. Hey, sometimes you, sometimes me, always us. We figured out a way. That's what we do to win in Lambeau against a really good team. That shows a lot of courage.
Again, winning in Lambeau against this Packers team is no easy task, so the fact that the Eagles were able to go in there on Monday night in prime time and pull out a gritty win is huge, so we should definitely enjoy that. And again, as much as the offense did struggle, which we'll get to later, there were also plenty of great things about this game, obviously with the majority of them coming on the defensive side of the ball. How about that defense, guys? Like, to hold the Packers scoreless pretty much all game, 3.5 quarters to be exact, and pretty much carry the Birds to a win in this one is just so darn impressive. From the jump, they were just suffocating Jordan Love and the Packers offense, and that first half was just pure dominance, as on 5 drives, the Birds forced the Packers into 4 straight punts and a fumble. They allowed 0 points, put up 3 sacks, forced a fumble and recovered it, allowed just 20 passing yards, and held Green Bay to 0 for 5 on 3rd down. It doesn't get much better than that. And the dominance all started on the very first drive of the game with 2 players in particular, as the Packers were starting to move a little bit, but all that changed when the second-year edge rusher Jalyx Hunt got through for a huge sack on Jordan Love on 2nd down and brought him down for an 11-yard loss. So again, this was no doubt a huge play by Hunt and also Jaelan Phillips, who got the initial pressure, more on him later, but it pushed the Packers out of field goal range and forced them into a 3rd and 20. And that's where Quinyon Mitchell made his mark, as he had really good coverage on a Christian Watson deep shot and broke up the pass, leading to a punt. And both Quinyon and Jalyx Hunt deserve a ton of credit for how they played in this game. I mean, starting with Mitchell, he got banged up in this one, on that play to be specific, and I personally didn't think he was going to come back, but obviously he did, and he had a really solid performance. Later, having blanket coverage and forcing an incompletion on this pass to Romeo Doubs, and overall being targeted 7 times, but allowing only 2 catches for 24 yards and a 41.4 passer rating allowed. I mean, again, it was just another great game for Q, and at this point, there's no denying that he's easily one of the best corners in the entire league and should be in line for a Pro Bowl and maybe even an All-Pro selection this year. And then switching over to Hunt, he's really starting to break out and turn it on after a slow start to the season. Before the bye week, he obviously had that pick 6 in Minnesota, followed by a 4 tackle, 1 sack, and 9 pressure performance against the Giants. And this week, he had another great game. Obviously getting that sack, making this huge play on Josh Jacobs to bring him down for a huge loss, and overall putting up 5 tackles, a sack, and 2 TFLs against the Packers. I mean, Hunt really is becoming a star right before our very eyes, and it's just been super fun to watch over these past couple of weeks. But it was even more fun to watch the newest Eagles edge rusher in this game, that being, of course, Jaelan Phillips. As I don't think it's a stretch to say that Phillips might have been the Birds' best player in this matchup with the Packers, or at least one of them, which is crazy considering that he literally just got here 1 week ago. But, it's clear why they decided to trade for him, because he fit in immediately and perfectly with Vic Fangio's unit, and he just made play after play after play, both against the pass and against the run, which you can clearly see here in this breakdown from Brian Baldinger.
It took 3 plays last night to hear Jalen Phillips have his name called. He was everywhere. And he was the single best defensive player on the field last night. Watch this long arm stab and the power right here. Collapse in the pocket where Jordan Love has no choice but to backtrack right into the weight and arms of Jalyx Hunt. That's how teamwork does it. One guy feeds another player. Now, you watch him here and disengage, take down Josh Jacobs, okay? All right, well done. Now, I just like the violence that he played with. Man, disengagement. It's like Monday Night Raw. Just take Wilson right down to the ground. Beautiful. All right, now, tight ends, it's a rule, are not going to block Jaelan Phillips ever. All right, it's a rule. Like if he was in a rodeo, that would be some good calf roping right there. Now, in this play right here, Nakobe Dean is going to come. One of the few times they blitz. And he is going to Josh Jacobs, a good blocker, he just ruined him. And so when Love right here tries to get the ball out, the ball's on the ground. They were in scoring position until Jaelan Phillips recovered it. Fumble recovery, all right? All over the place. Now, you watch him right here, and he's a spy, all right? He's a spy and when Jordan Love breaks the pocket, you watch the speed that he chases Jordan Love down with. They got themselves not just a guy, they got themselves a great player. This is the type of pass rush they haven't seen all year. He swims Zach Tom, then he gets rid of him, then he gets to Jordan Love. He is exactly what the Eagles needed. Exactly. 4th and 1. Here you go. 4th and 1. You ruin that tight end. You take Josh Jacobs down. Here comes Blankenship. Finish the game out. He finished the game. Blankenship recovers. Jaelan Phillips wasn't just good. He was great. He was the best defensive player on the field.
I mean, Phillips really was everywhere in his Eagles debut, as he finished the game with 7 pressures, 7 hurries, 1 QB hit, 6 total tackles, 5 stops, a fumble recovery, a TFL, and a 19.4% pressure rating. I mean, those are some elite numbers, and the Eagles likely don't win this game without Phillips' impact. So already, A+ trade for Howie Roseman.
I just felt super grateful. It was the first time in a while that I've gotten a little emotional before a game. Just, obviously this stage and, coming here is my first time at Lambeau, walking out through that tunnel. It doesn't get better than that. So, yeah, I'm definitely grateful. Felt amazing energy from the guys. It was just an air of confidence. And, everybody played together. We had a great game, honestly. It was super gritty. So, yeah, I'm just grateful to be here for sure.
Great player, man. His tenacity, his effort, man, it was phenomenal. It was phenomenal, man. Happy to have him on the team for sure.
It showed the athlete he is, and for him to come over here and, have a
impact game like that, especially how the game went, low-scoring game, etc. He's a dog, man. We seen it on film when he was in Miami. Vic knew him, so had good words about him, and he came out. He's going to keep balling.
Love to hear the praise for Phillips as well as his comments. Again, definitely sounds like he's super grateful to be here, so you gotta love that. And not only did Phillips earn a game ball for his performance, but he also helped take this Eagles pass rush as a whole to the next level. I mean, mind you, the Eagles pass rush has probably been one of their biggest issues all season. They just haven't really put up sack numbers or gotten after the quarterback very well. But in this game, they pressured Jordan Love on 17 of his 42 dropbacks, which is good for a pressure rate of 40.5%, and that's pretty great. And under pressure, Love was just 3 for 12 for 21 yards and was sacked 3 times. So, again, definitely love to see the pass rush getting on track. And again, overall, the Eagles defense was just unbelievable in this one. I mean, even when the Packers started to move a little bit in the second half, they were able to force a turnover on downs, as well as several punts, and when it mattered the most in crucial situations, the defense came up with some big-time plays. Whether you want to talk about Nakobe Dean's blitz, sack, and forced fumble on Jordan Love to end the first half and prevent the Packers from getting points. By the way, huge shout out to Nakobe. He just keeps getting better and better, and he was huge in this game, finishing with 7 tackles, and he was the highest graded Eagle at 90.1. And then fast forward to the end of the game, and the defense came through again on what should have been the game-winning play, up 3 points. This time with Jaelan Phillips, Jalen Carter, and Reed Blankenship blowing up a Josh Jacobs run on 4th and 1 to bring him down for a loss. And Reed actually forced a fumble on this play and recovered it, so shout out to him. He was good in this game as well with 7 tackles, but in regards to this play specifically, it was really made possible by a whole bunch of guys, starting with Moro Ojomo, who actually called the play out.
Now, somebody pointed out to me that if you listen to this play, right, you hear something, which is Moro Ojomo, the Eagles' defensive tackle here, yelling. Right, there he is. Inside zone this way, inside zone this way, right? Now, how did he know that? Well, here is last week against the Panthers. It is, after the 2-minute warning, it is 3rd and 2. The Packers just converted a 2nd and 12 to get to 3rd and 2. They go no huddle, hurry up to the line. They're in 2-by-2 right here, right? 2 receivers, both sides of the formation. Back is offset and a little bit back from Jordan Love, and they run inside zone, right? Go ahead and pick up 2 yards, first down. Here's another 3rd and 2 against the Steelers, right? They had a 2nd and 4. They ran it, and then they went up the line quick, no huddle. This time they're in 3-by-1, 3 receivers to the top, but that back is still offset. Jordan Love's right. They go ahead and snap this quick, and they run inside zone. Last one for you, 3rd and 1, third quarter against the Lions. They had a 3-yard run on 2nd and 4. It's 3rd and 1. They get to the line fast, 3-by-1, back offset behind Jordan Love a little bit to the right, and they're going to run inside zone. So this is no huddle when they're in short yardage. They get the line fast, and they do this, which takes us back to this Eagles play. 9-yard pickup on 3rd and 10. You can see Nakobe Dean right here pointing out, to me, he's pointing out where Josh Jacobs is, maybe talking about something else, I don't know. But once Ojomo gets his eyes in the backfield, once he gets his eyes up and he sees Love and Jacobs offset there to his right, he starts telling everybody, inside zone this way. And then off the line, fast Moro Ojomo, upfield. And then you get the stop, and it should have been the game-winning stop. There was another drive, whatever. Little film study, baby. That's sick.
Huge credit to Benjamin Solak for the breakdown here, but yeah, again, it was definitely super cool to see Moro Ojomo call out the play before it even happened. That just speaks volumes to the preparation of him and the rest of this defense. And also, again, huge shout out to Ojomo, Jalen Carter, Jaelan Phillips, and Reed Blankenship for making this play. And ultimately, the Eagles defense was able to end the game on the next possession, holding the Packers just out of field goal range to where they missed a 64-yarder to end it, and Philly won by a score of 10-7. That said, the Eagles never should have even been in that position to begin with, because for some reason, facing a 4th and 6 from the Packers' 35-yard line with 33 seconds left and Green Bay having no timeouts, Nick Sirianni decided to go for it on 4th down, and they didn't get it. So that put the Packers in great field position to go get a field goal, as opposed to if they had just did a short punt and pinned Green Bay deep in their own territory. And what makes it worse is that Sirianni actually doubled down on this decision after the game.
We're up 3, and I would have liked to be in a little closer to kick a field goal, but the closer we would have got, the more, again, you play every situation a little bit differently, but I think it was into the wind on that one. I knew the kick would have to be a little bit lower trajectory. of a kick on that particular one. I got a lot of faith in our offense. It didn't work out on this one. We just didn't get it. But the decision, I stand put on that decision. Especially being up 3, because you go up 6, they're still going to need a touchdown, being a Hail Mary, everything like that. So we would have ended the game if we would have got that, and I got a lot of faith in our guys to be able to do that.
Sorry, Nick. Like, I love you. I think you're a great coach, but I just can't get behind this one at all. I mean, I get not wanting to try a field goal, but he does understand that they could have just punted here, right? Even if it was a short punt, pin the Packers deep, and they would have had little to no chance of getting into field goal range, as opposed to, going for it, not getting it, and then setting the Packers up in really good field position. I don't know. Like, I understand being aggressive. I like being aggressive, but I just felt like that was irrational more than anything else. Now, that said, we do actually have some new information here coming from Bill Colarulo of 97.5 The Fanatic, as he said that this actually wasn't Sirianni's decision, and rather, it was Jalen and AJ, quote-unquote, going rogue and taking the deep shot.
When the ball got snapped and Jalen Hurts threw a bomb to AJ Brown down the left sideline, I was shocked. I was furious. I said, that is a terrible, terrible decision. However, right before I came on the air, I have been told by multiple reliable sources that AJ and Jalen went rogue again.
What?
If you remember correctly, Seattle Seahawks game 2023, Sirianni came up to the podium, said it was his decision. We found out weeks later from AJ himself. Coach made himself look like a clown. That was me and Jalen going rogue. They did it again. And that is not opinion. That has been confirmed. Now, what I cannot confirm, if they didn't go rogue in that situation, what was the plan? Were you going to take a penalty and punt? Or did you just have another play called that wasn't that? I don't know the answer to that. But I do know AJ and Jalen went rogue again.
Now, look, I have no way of knowing if this is actually true or not. Let's just assume that it is. In that case, like he said, you don't know the exact situation. You don't know if they were just trying to draw the Packers off sides or take a penalty. You don't know if there was an actual play called and they changed it. In that case, I wouldn't be as mad at Jalen checking into a different play. If it was supposed to be taking a penalty and then punting, then that's definitely an issue, and I guess would qualify as quote-unquote going rogue like he said there. Honestly, though, if Jalen and AJ were on the same page here, I'm going to take that as a little bit of a win, just because of all the drama that's floated around in the media recently, that the relationship between those two has been strained. But at the same time, the correct call here, no matter what way you want to look at it, no matter who you want to blame for it, would have been to punt the ball. So I'm not really too mad at anybody. It worked out in the end. The Eagles won. But no question, whatever happened here was not the correct decision. Moving on from that, though, the other obvious big issue in this one was the Eagles' offense. I mean, they started off great with that first drive that took up pretty much the entire first quarter and went all the way down the field. I mean, they had a really nice flow going. They were running the ball well. It just unfortunately ended with the Jalen Hurts fumble, but I think this was more of just a great play by Edgerrin Cooper than anything wrong that Hurts or the Eagles did. Unfortunately, after that, though, the Eagles' offense reverted back to a lot of the same issues that we've seen from them for much of the rest of the season. I mean, the play calling was bad. There's no way around that. I thought they were far too conservative, just running the ball on second and third and longs, basically giving up on drives when they got into bad situations. I also thought things got predictable, and just overall, it was just another bad performance from Kevin Patullo not utilizing his weapons in the right way, particularly AJ Brown, who once again had a really, really quiet game, as he finished with just 2 catches for 13 yards on 3 targets. I mean, I don't understand how you don't try and get him the ball more, and I 100% at this point understand AJ's frustration. Like, they're not using him the right way at all. That said, after the game, he handled himself with absolute class.
How do you balance being happy that you beat a really good Packers team on the road with the frustration of leaving some meat on the bone as an offense?
I wouldn't say it's about being happy or frustrated or anything. I think it's me just coming to work with the mindset of just getting better, and that's what we have to do.
Shout out to AJ Brown, man. Like, these comments were great, And so was his blocking on one of the Eagles' few big plays of the day. This one, of course, coming with the Eagles up 3-0 on 3rd down, as Saquon Barkley caught this pass in the flat, made a man miss with an awesome spin move, and then took it 41 yards with the help of AJ. Again, AJ's role in this play was crucial, and then on the next play, AJ played a role once again, but it was DeVonta Smith who made the big play, as AJ brought the safety down, freeing up Smitty for this jump ball over Evan Williams, which he hauled in for the 36-yard score to put the Birds up 10-0. And shout out to DeVonta Smith, by the way. I feel like he just consistently flies under the radar. But in this game, he put up 4 catches for a game-high 69 yards and, of course, the touchdown. He's currently on pace for a career year with 48 catches for 657 yards. And just whenever the Eagles need him, Smitty always comes through.
I feel like people forget that he won the Heisman. Like, he's a pretty good football player. And you know, I don't know why that's like forgotten. You know how hard it is to win the Heisman. But shout out to Smitty. He comes up big for us every single time. And it's, you know, from a Steph Curry video I watched when I was in college, when Charles Huff, my running back coach, success is not an accident. And for you go on, I know you guys aren't there, you guys only there in the beginning of practice, but when we're in special teams, when we have a break, if you just try to find Smitty, and you're going to be on the judge catching football. So no surprise, to be honest.
Again, shout out to Smitty, and again, there were definitely good things in this game offensively, but for the most part, it was just a really bad showing. I mean, again, the play calling was bad, but we also can't excuse the players either. I mean, the offensive line, albeit banged up, just did not execute near well enough, leading to more struggles in the run game. There were also penalties, there were self-inflicted wounds, and even some off-target throws by Jalen Hurts, which is pretty uncharacteristic. So overall, from execution to play calling, it was just a really bad performance from the Eagles offense. And also, we do got to credit the Packers defense because they played really, really well too. All that negativity aside though, this was still a huge win for the Eagles against a really good team. They also got out of it healthy, as Lane Johnson seems to be okay after getting an ankle injury in that first half. And as much as they do have a lot to clean up and a lot to fix, they're still 7-2, they're number 1 in the NFC, and they were just coming out of a bye week, so maybe they just need to build back up some of that momentum. And again, we have seen some really good stuff from them offensively. Defensively, they're trending in the right direction, so there are very much reasons to be optimistic. And now this week, they're going to have a huge challenge with the Detroit Lions coming to town. So you guys know that I'm going to be covering all the news and all the stories leading into that one. So if you don't want to miss that or any other Eagles coverage coming throughout the rest of the season, then make sure you subscribe and you turn on notifications. And also, while you're at it, make sure you drop a like down below because it really does help me out a ton. Let's see if we can get to at least 500 likes today. And also hit the hype button because that helps me out a ton as well. Also, leave a comment just giving me your thoughts on the Eagles win over the Packers. Also, if you do want to donate to the American Foundation for Prevention, I've got a fundraiser for that going on right now. You should probably be able to see it right below the video. So go do that. And also, if you want to check out another Eagles video, you can watch this right here. Now, with all that being said, that's pretty much all I got for this one, guys. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.